Welcome in, everyone. My name is Bryce Koon. That is Matthew Brune right next to me, and we're getting ready to talk about whatever the heck just transpired about an hour and a half ago. Brune, I'm not in a good mood, man.
You
I'm just
seem
gonna,
you seem flustered,
I'm,
Bryce. You
I'm.
seem flustered.
Get this light out of my face. I don't want that there.
Everything
And
is
yeah, I'm not. I don't know. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Welcome in. Like, subscribe. Matthew Brune. My name is Bryce Koon. Brian Kelly just spoke with the media. Didn't really speak to the media, but
I think the
yeah.
media
How are
might have
you doing?
spoke more than him.
How are you doing? You doing good?
I'm good. You called me. I was at the gym. I was like, yeah, I'm running home. Don't even worry about it, Bryce. I'm running home so we can talk about this whatever all of the injuries. I don't just want to talk about Nuss's injury. I want to talk about how every what is it, 5 offensive starters are hurt right now. We'll start with Nuss though.
Take it away. Is he
Oh,
hurt or is
okay.
he not
Oh,
hurt?
I'll go.
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
okay.
I mean,
I
what do we? No, I'll say this. Like, okay, Garrett Nussmeier is okay. Is that what we take away from this? That he's okay? He's limited this week, and
Okay.
we,
So let's
yeah.
let's do the timeline. Let's do a timeline of events here. Saturday
I might bring my dinner on stream though, because I can't be mad at this and hangry. So we'll just
and
see what
hungry.
happens.
Saturday night, they lose to Ole Miss. He looks terrible. He doesn't look healthy. After the game, Brian Kelly says he's healthy. What do you want me to tell you? He's healthy. Garrett Nussmeier says, I'm not going to talk about my health. Monday comes. He goes on Paul Feinbaum, and he also says another basically non-answer to this. And I don't remember the exact quotes, but it was basically a non-answer again. Then Wednesday comes, he goes on the teleconference. Our good pal Shay Dixon asked him right away what the deal was with Garrett Nussmeier, and he asked him if there was any truth to him potentially having a torn oblique or surgery. And he said, nope, that's misinformation. It's honestly just silly, Shay, and basically completely dismissed any possibility of him getting shut down or him missing a game. So we're like, okay, cool. It doesn't completely answer everything, but it at least tells us that it's not to the degree that some people were speculating, right? There was speculation that he was really, really hurt, like this was going to have to be shut down for a minute and whatnot. That's not the case, according to Brian Kelly. I've already told you what I think about Brian Kelly's words. But then we get to Wednesday night, and he's asked, I think, 3 separate times about Nussmeier. And you were there, so I'll let you take it away. But Reed Darcy from The Advocate, great job with Reed. He does a great job with women's basketball as well. Asked him if he re-aggravated the injury during the Ole Miss game. Or before it, after it, during it, any point. Brian Kelly just says no. No. That's the whole quote. 2 no's. And so we are here saying, all right, like he didn't even aggravate it on like when he got leveled, when he got popped, like on the what was it, the Tyree Adams blitz, the guy who got by
hit
Tyree
into
Adams.
Carius Kern.
Yeah, like he took a couple shots in that game. Nope, no re-aggravation, nothing.
It's impressive.
So here we are. He did say what was it, a strained abdomen? I think that's what he called it. So this injury, in my view, has gone from like a torso to an abdomen. And now in my head, it's just like this whole upper body just is not right. So we say all that, and Brian Kelly insists that he's on the right side of it. He is feeling better. He just needs some rest, which again raises questions to why he played against Southeastern, we yelled about this 2 weeks ago. It makes no sense. So that's pretty much where we are. Did I summarize it well for everybody?
Yeah, I mean, this is what I'll say about it. No, you did a good job. Okay. I don't typically do this. I haven't done this in a long time. We got Ralph in the background. He's been in the background of my shows for quite some time at previous stops. It's been a very long time since I've gotten speculative, however you want to say it. This is a mess. This is a PR mess in terms of what we're being told / not being told. And there's a lot more to this than just what is out there. I think that's the best way to put it. So you're allowed to do what you want to do with that. What I will say this is terms of the actual injury. If it was a torso injury, right, you're kind of sitting there saying, okay, this could be pec, this could be oblique. I mean, that's kind of what we thought, right? Like this is an oblique thing. Now you're saying it's an abdomen injury, which is more specific. I don't know if they don't communicate on how to talk about these things or what it is. I don't know what the big secret is about what body part it being that is hurt. I don't understand why you would want to keep that a secret because, as you mentioned, Brune, Garrett Nussmeier has not been he hasn't been average. He hasn't been okay. He has been a bad quarterback objectively through the first 5 games of the season. So if you want to place the blame on something, I understand you don't want to be seen as the competitor that blames an injury. This is like, I've got a 1-year-old, and she is entering the age now where she'll do something she knows she's not supposed to do it and try to hide it even though I watched her. That's what I feel like I'm watching with this. You have the situation to where it is blatantly obvious that something is at very minimum physically wrong, but we're acting like it's not real. And I don't know what the point of that is. So that's what I say with this. In terms of the press conference we just left, Glenn West also asked the question. I did refer to Glenn as an unnamed source in a previous podcast, so I guess I got to redeem him right here, Brune. But Glenn did ask in the opening question about Michael Van Buren and what was his opportunities here during the bye week. Michael Van Buren, Brian Kelly has said, is pretty much running the first team right now. He's getting the first team reps. Another portion of it, and I think this was asked by one of the student reporters, actually, which I thought was a fantastic question, was in short yardage situations, are there packages for Michael Van Buren? And Brian Kelly said, and I don't want to say it verbatim because I don't remember the quote verbatim, but along the lines of, yes, there are packages. We're not taking Nuss off the field in those situations. So in a 6.5-minute press conference, we were told a lot of different things, but told nothing. I think is just my biggest takeaway. So the update on Nussmeier is that he is just resting and taking a lot of mental reps, and he's doing the VR stuff. And we're, obviously going to hopefully see what version of Nussmeier takes the field next weekend against South Carolina. I will pose this question back to you here, though, because I think this is important, Brune. We're kind of sitting here in a situation where you mentioned that you should have rested him against Southeastern. There's nothing you can do about that now. That makes no sense. Like, I don't think it's mind-boggling why you didn't do that. You're now sitting in a situation to where we're 10 days from kickoff against South Carolina now? You have a runway of 10 days. Is that enough for you to accurately say that Garrett Nussmeier can run this offense with efficiency? Because that's a benchmark that you've said that Michael Van Buren would have to exceed for him to be able to play, to be able to do it efficiently. Can Garrett Nussmeier do that? So I guess I ask you in this, as we look forward to this coming out of this week, does this change anything that you thought coming into today, which was kind of this big day for fans and media to see what Brian Kelly was going to say? For me, it doesn't. I'll say that. It does not change one thing that I thought when I woke up this morning. I didn't learn anything new, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think we learned anything new. Garrett Nussmeier, Brian Kelly did not clear up anything. And I think that there is still real concern here. He's obviously not taking reps, which is, again, he told us time after time that this is not something that needs rest. This is not something that gets better when you just don't use it. And with that in mind, he could have rested for Southeastern. He could have, honestly, if you told us just off bat, hey, I know he wants to compete, but we're not going to play him Southeastern. We'll see how it feels going into Ole Miss. And if he is not 100%, if he is not ready to go, we're not going to put him out there against Ole Miss. Instead, you play him against, and then you would have had a month between the Florida game to the South Carolina game to get him
We
right.
talked about that after that Florida game, yeah.
Yes. And you would have had a month, and now imagine where we'd be sitting right now, where we're out of a bye week. All right, you lost to Ole Miss without Nussmeier. Cool, could he have played? Maybe, yeah, it would have been great. But we're going to assume Garrett Nussmeier is 100% healthy for the last 7 games of this season. That would be just a much better feeling if you're an LSU fan and if you are LSU, because now obviously you want to win the Ole Miss game. You want him to play in the Ole Miss game. But dude, That was not Garrett Nussmeier. I said it on the last podcast. That is not Garrett Nussmeier. And if you saw him in practice looking like that and still played him, then that is on you as Brian Kelly. And it makes no sense. And again, like I've said before too, not having Michael Van Buren ready to go if Garrett Nussmeier looked like that is, I mean, our board has said this word, has said this word 100 times. It's malpractice. It's terrible. It's not doing everything you can do to win a football game and not doing everything you can do to have this team ready to win, to make the playoffs at the end of the year. And now we're sitting in this gray area where Van Buren's finally getting first team reps, right? Nussmeier's finally resting, and we're 10 days away from South Carolina. And we still have no answers. And honestly, it's not even the fact that we don't have answers. It's the fact that it feels like Brian Kelly doesn't have answers. The guy that's getting paid $10 million a year. Again, I'm not saying he doesn't have answers, but it feels like he's scrambling. And so we are looking at, LSU fans are not upset that Garrett Nussmeier is hurt and all this stuff. It's the fact that your leadership is not being precise. It's not being accurate. It's not being consistent. And that's the infuriating part to LSU fans. And it should be. It should be.
I said this when Kelly snapped at Michael Cobble on that Sunday show. And I said, oftentimes players and coaches shouldn't really care about what LSU fan 42 on Twitter says. You know what I mean? Like you worry about what's happening inside the locker room. That's what matters the most.
Yeah.
That's the people you have to appease. Those 100+ people that are involved in your program, all the way from the student trainers to the walk-ons that never play. I mean, that's what you have to worry about. It has the right mindset. I think in this situation, what you mentioned, the frustration factor, though, is for fans and media, is that it's so glaringly obvious. Like, I can't get past that.
Yes.
I can't get past the fact that we watched Garrett Nussmeier play in a game. And I want to, because look, Ole Miss fans came on our, I know you don't read YouTube comments. I love them. I live off of them. It's great. Our late Saturday night instant reaction, Ole Miss fans came on there and said which way. And give Ole Miss credit; they did what they needed to go win that football game on Saturday. That was a winnable game, and I don't want to. I gotta be careful how I say this. Okay, I'm picking at my mat here. I don't want to say that you didn't take it seriously. It's hard for me to not think that, though. Like, I don't want to think these things. It's hard for me to not think that, though, when we have this misinformation and this Jekyll and Hyde act from, and I'm going to say this too, like I'm putting a little bit of this on Nussmeier as well, like just not speaking about stuff. But you're the quarterback. You're the face of the program. You don't get to do this at the next level, by the way. You get fined when you do stuff like this. So, that's why, to me, you're creating more drama than necessary. You're going to start creating the conspiracy theory stuff we see on social media in certain forums. You're going to start creating some of this dialogue that is not even close to the truth because of, like you said, you're not just attacking it head on. And Brune, you've been here 1 year longer than I have. I think for me, what's crazy is, and a lot of people don't like Brian Kelly for whatever reason. They have their preconceived notions. There's nothing. I mean, dude, Brian Kelly could save a school bus of, drowning children outside of the LSU lakes and people would still hate him for some reason. He's never really done what he's doing right now in terms of how I've covered him. It's been straight shooter, whether you like it or not, almost too brash at times for some people. That's why this is just, the whole situation is weird. And it's why it opens the door to people to say, it's not what it seems on the surface, and there's a lot of stuff that may be happening behind the scenes in terms of what can happen. Is there a disconnect between Nussmeier and Kelly on what really is the extent of the injury? I mean, that's something to where, do they not agree on that? I don't know. I'm not trying to start that. But when you don't attack things head on from a PR standpoint, that's the result of that. So you can be frustrated. You can be short with the media, but you have to realize that originated with how you've handled this.
Yeah.
So that's I guess, my spiel of getting up for that.
You bring up an interesting point, because I'm sure they've gotten multiple different opinions on this. Like, maybe they did.
I'll tell you, they have. I'll just say they have.
I'm sure that, they've gotten multiple opinions on this. Clearly, this happens in every sport where, there might be a significant injury. I remember when in 2017, to go back when the Spurs with Kawhi Leonard, right? Spurs thought he could play. Kawhi thought he couldn't, so on and so forth. But we haven't really seen that in college before. And I'm not saying that is the situation here, but again, there's so much a divide almost of what we're getting between these two. And honestly, just between Brian Kelly, what he said 3 weeks ago, what he said 2 weeks ago, what he said 1 week ago, what he's saying today. Yeah. So I'm curious how this has developed, and I don't know how else to answer that. But all I can say, moving off of my dissertation or talking about Kelly, is Michael Van Buren has to be ready. Like, this has to be in the South Carolina game in 10 days. Like, he has to be ready. If Garrett Nussmeier comes out and throws a duck that's intercepted on the second drive of the game and it's returned for 6 and you're down 7-0 and fans are booing, I want to see Michael Van Buren put in the game. Like, I just don't think that's too much to ask here. I don't know. He's not healthy. He's not healthy, and he's not good enough if he's not healthy. So I just think you have to do what you have to do to win a football game.
I just put up another banner. I'll put it up because we didn't text Ralph this one. Is he a viable option? I want to talk about this just for a second because we did ask him questions about different packages that you could utilize him in, and we got the chance to see him in fall camp. It wasn't pretty. I mean, let's just be candid. It wasn't pretty what he put out there on fall camp. Yes, we're going to take with a grain of salt what we saw against Southeastern. The question for me becomes, it's two things. One, what's the point of him being here? Like, what's the point? Like, because I think the initial point was, hey, Nussmeier's going to be the guy. You feel like he's pretty stable. He's going to be able to play the full slate of games. We're going to play you essentially up until the 4 games. If Nussmeier opts out of the bowl game, you'll play that bowl game. That just hypothetical. That was going to be the plan. So he gets to secure a redshirt season, right? He'll go into next year as would be a redshirt sophomore. Yep. That's what he would be. So that's what you would get out of him. Well, now you've entered a situation to where, I mean, Brune, how bad does it have to get? Because Brian Kelly just sat there and told us he's not going to take Garrett Nussmeier out of the football game in short yardage situations. Something that Michael Van Buren offers probably a better opportunity at if Nuss is 100% healthy in those short yardage situations. So if you're not willing to do that, and that's not us speculating, that's what the guy literally just said an hour and a half ago. What does it have to take for it to be, like, how bad does this have to get? And what are you willing to sacrifice? I go back to it. That was a winnable game last Saturday. And I'm not saying Michael Van Buren is, because I don't want to be that guy. The backup quarterback is always the most popular option.
For sure.
You know, a lot of fans have come out here. This is the answer. Whatever, however you want to cut it, slice it. Brune, he can offer you something. I mean, this isn't, and with all due respect, this isn't the situation you had last year, where you really had just went to go get AJ Swan for depth purposes. Yeah. This is a guy who can actually play the game and play. I mean, I just don't know how it can be worse. And if it is, why not?
If it is, it is a lack of preparation from Joe Sloan and Brian Kelly. Because I think from a talent perspective, like you said, this isn't last year. I think Michael Van Buren has some real upside. He didn't have a great fall, in my opinion. But here we are 5-6 weeks later to where he should be progressing. He should understand the offense. He's been here for 10 plus months now. He started 6-7 games last year at Mississippi State. He should be able to come in and spell Garrett Nussmeier at this point in the year if Garrett Nussmeier is not healthy. And if he's not, again, it's on the coaching. It's on the preparation, and it's on Kelly and Sloan.
Yeah, and just one more thing on that. If he's not able, I mean, I just have a hard time even saying that sentence because I don't understand how he couldn't be, able to do something for you. It's just really hard for me to get past that Ole Miss game and see the fact that he didn't even get an opportunity to spark anything. Because Brune, and I don't want to dive too much in this. We'll get into some of the other injuries and where you go from forward here, and this maybe previews it. There's no rhyme or rhythm to anything this offense does. Like it honestly feels like they're trying to luck into getting sustainable drives because there's not however you want to spin it, quarterback play, lack of a run game, lack of going after the run game, a porous offensive line. You need somebody who can create. And 100% healthy right now for you, I would say, and this might be a crazy take, Michael Van Buren's the better creator than Garrett Nussmeier is if they're both healthy. Because he can use his legs and he has a willingness to use his legs. And you need some of that because, man, they don't even go back and watch the Ole Miss game. They never once have anybody on Garrett Nussmeier in those zone reads. No. It's not happening. He wouldn't run healthy. He's not going to run now. So you got to give somebody a different look. And I don't know if we're going to see that next week against South Carolina. I do know this, and this is not getting too far ahead of it. If you can't move the ball, and this is crazy, and I know you love LSU at home. If you can't move the ball, I can't tell you definitively you're going to win any game except for Western Kentucky. Like, if you legitimately cannot move the ball because your defense is going to have to make plays for you. Definitively, I cannot say, without a shadow of a doubt, they're beating South Carolina. What if Lenore Sellers has a great game, which he is capable of doing? I mean, so that's too far into it, but I know that's just it goes back to the Van Buren. He has to be an option for you.
And again, my problem with him not playing against Ole Miss was like your offense was not doing anything for the entire game, really.
Yeah.
And barring that last drive, but putting Van Buren in, I thought just to start the second half, just to try to find a spark, try to find something, because it doesn't look like they're running the most complicated scheme out here.
Right, RPOs with a quarterback who can't run.
They're running RPOs, they're running screens, like they're not pushing the ball vertically, and when they're trying to, it's not working at all. So, I just fail to believe that Michael Van Buren is just miles away from a Garrett Nussmeier that looks like he's at like 60% at this point. So, that's all I got on Van Buren.
The last thing on it, and you hit on it right there, is you're running a scheme that is tailored towards a quarterback like Michael Van Buren. But the question was, hey, his downfield accuracy and all this kind of stuff. Well, you're not doing that. You're not hitting the 30-yard pass play. So that shouldn't even be in the mind when we talk about this. Is he an option? Because you're not doing that. Right now, you need someone who can manage an offense, like and be able to stay ahead of the chains. And that's with the way your offensive line is not very good, and the fact that you don't have a run game. I don't know why he wouldn't be a viable option. So I'll take a step back and tell people about game time. We can go into some of these other injuries real quick. So that's just brutal. It's not brutal. Our friends over at Game Time, they do a fantastic job. You can get code TIGERS for $20 off your order, whether it's concert, comedy shows, or another sporting event. Make sure you use them and let them know that we sent you over there. TIGERS 20 is that deal to make sure you get $20 off your purchase. Brune and I might be utilizing that Friday night, not this Friday night, a couple Friday nights from now. Spurs Pels opening an NBA season.
Yes, sir.
So I don't know. Did you think we were going to buy a ticket to the South Carolina?
I didn't know where you were going with that. I forgot it was on Friday. I was like, what's on Friday? Exactly. A high school game or something?
Yeah, on Game Time. So, anyways, all right. So let's take a step back, talk about some of the other injuries here for a second.
Yeah, let me open this up. There might. How do I word this to where doesn't sound bad? The amount of heat. Bad. No. I figured out the amount of heat that has been taken off of Brad Davis over the past 3 weeks because we've just been talking about Garrett Nussmeier and Joe Sloan is incredible. I mean, this offensive line has been atrocious on every single level. And now, as we get to injury updates, Weston Davis, apparently before the Ole Miss game, suffers a concussion and a fractured nose. Brian Kelly didn't say anything about what happened, right? He didn't get hit with the helmet.
No, and that's the first time we'd heard that. We didn't even hear that on Saturday or Sunday's postgame. He's in the protocol.
Yeah, the pregame radio I thought was like he has like a scratch or something like that, or a cut of some sort, which maybe he did. So I hope he's okay. But I mean, so Weston Davis, concussion protocol. Who knows if he'll play against South Carolina? And then Paul Mabenga, high ankle sprain. I think we talked about it. He was in a boot after the game. So high ankle sprain for Paul Mabenga. So now, while I'm not saying those two were, high level starters, it's still just the hits keep on coming for this offensive line, and this is the reason why this offense is poor. Like I blame Garrett Nussmeier a good amount, but if they could just run the ball at all or protect, I feel like we'd be having a very, very different conversation right now, because there's a lot of teams around the country that don't have good quarterbacks, but they don't have as bad of offense of what we're watching right now from LSU, because they cannot run the ball.
Yeah, Weston Davis's absence allows Koon to slide in, get his first start, like we mentioned multiple times, like 22 minutes up until kickoff. That's when Koon figured out. Mabenga, to me, is interesting because we got to see a little bit more of Cohen Eccles at that left guard spot. So for both Eccles and Koon, you had auditions without the fear of being replaced. I think that's the biggest thing I'd take away is no one – I mean, listen, look at me, people. No one is behind those guys and taking their spots. So that's about all you got. So in terms
DJ
of
Chester?
No one is behind those guys and taking those spots. So, sorry, I'm yeah.
They're on 10
Chester
right
at right tackle, okay, but I mean Kern is what it is.
I agree.
But with those two guys, I think you have a full game tape now, so you go into the bye week and you have to evaluate, right? Like Kelly talked about today, that they expect Mabinga to progress. They expect Weston Davis to progress, and he didn't throw him in there, and you could tell you had to be able to read the room in situations like that. I think there's an instance of Braylon Moore needing to get fully healthy after that ankle sprain that he suffered against Louisiana Tech. All that to say is this bye week offers an opportunity to where you have the tape you need. It cannot be the excuse, well, Carius Curran only had 37 snaps against Southeastern. No, he played a full game against an SEC defensive line. So, and a guy that in Prince Will who's pretty good football player. So he has that tape to where now you can get a true evaluation. You know how I feel about it. I think I know how you feel about it. There should be no doubt if both guys are healthy, who's starting where on that offensive line when they take field against South Carolina. So it's to me, it's one of those things where, I mean, God, this offensive line is. I mean, Shea wrote about it, and Shea's been catching a lot of heat for maybe being a little bit too optimistic on some things. But he wrote an article about it, like Weston Davis is the worst power, like PFF rated offensive lineman on this team. A player, I think it was.
Yeah.
It's been bad. So we'll see what happens at that spot. I don't have much more on those injury updates. I do think you could throw Aaron Anderson is kind of the other one, I guess. And, just do you feel like that's anything more than just some nicks and bruises and just it's something that he's going to – I mean, he's going to play. Brian Kelly kind of mentioned that today.
Yeah, I feel like that's a tough guy. Not saying other injuries, guys that are hurt aren't
you can
tough,
say that if you want.
but yeah, he's a hip, toe, knee. He's all banged up. So, Aaron Anderson, I expect him to play, but it was at least notable that another LSU starter is hurt. Caden Durham, he said was running more. I think he said.
Working up to where you would want to be. This is how he put it.
So he'll be fine for I assume for the South Carolina game. We'll see. I think they do need him. I think Aaron Anderson and Durham need to be healthy for them to win this game the way they want to play on offense. But again, if they can't block, if they can't do anything in the run game, it's going to be more of the same in terms of the struggles. Like honestly, we talked about Michael Van Buren playing. I honestly don't care who your quarterback is. You pair them with that run game and that offensive line, it's going to be tough.
You're behind that
it's tough no matter what. So I even said on the board, I was like, imagine if they could just run the ball consistently and chew some clock. Help this defense out to where they don't have to play 50 plays in the first half against Ole Miss. Like just running the ball with any consistency and any physicality would just go such a long way for this offense, and it just doesn't even look plausible right now.
Yeah, it's not happening. So it's just not. I mean, Brune, they've never done it in 4 years, so it's not.
Except for Jaden Daniels,
Brune
running around.
Noted mispronunciation of names. Jamal Haynes.
I forgot what the other one was.
Oh yeah. You gotta love it.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Georgia
Tech's starting running back off the top. Well, I knew it was Justice Haynes.
It's Jamal.
Justice
Haynes is at Michigan.
I knew it was Haynes, and then there's two J's. There's Jamal Haynes and Justice Haynes, and so I just ran with one of them and saw what happened.
Well, let's take it here because we talked about injuries and like where do you go? I'm just gonna say this, like, and just keep it real with you. Defensively, I'm not worried about anything. Like. Losing Gabe Relaford hurts. We talked about that. It is going to hurt. You're going to have some development there at that position in terms of a pass rusher because you had two true pass rushers, in my opinion, at the edge position. Patrick Payton and Gabriel Relaford. You lost them. One of those guys. Patrick Payton's really good. You have seen, though, and this is a new data set for people to start watching. You've seen what it looks like when Patrick Payton does not have help, i.e. last year. When he's not surrounded by guys who can go get the quarterback and help him out. If they're able to key on him, that's something that would worry me. So it's up to Pyburn, it's up to Butler, it's up to Dylan Carpenter, whoever you want to throw out there. And I will say this, there's not a lot of coaches on this staff I give the benefit of the doubt to. Kevin Peoples is one for me. I think he's a really good coach at what he does. Sure. That, to me, is a development standpoint of getting back in, mental reset, getting some of those pass rush moves worked out. So defensively, I don't really have much to say. I push back against the narrative that they were tired. I think that's ridiculous. You played nearly 100 plays with penalties, by the way. Nearly 100 plays.
You push back on the narrative that they were not tired.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Kelly said they weren't tired.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
I mean,
Crazy.
I'd love to. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to say on that. Anything nice, at least. So there's that. I guess what I want to talk about here is what do you do offensively from here? Like I've been on, I know you've done some stuff. I've done some stuff this week. And I continuously get the question on shows and radio shows, so what happens now? And I'm kind of like, Brune, I don't think outside of Garrett Nussmeier getting healthy, which we've already spent too much time on that, none of these issues are in season fixable. Like the lack of development, or I hate to use the word talent, but the lack of a 5 formidable group on the offensive line, that's an off-season problem. You said so much on Sunday night. You could have gone out and gotten a right tackle. You didn't. And so now you're paying retributions for not doing that. So I don't know what you can do from a schematic standpoint.
Obviously, they throw.
I'm not absolving Joe Sloan of the play calling. I just don't know what you do in season to fix this. You've got to find something. Maybe you say, hey, if we run the ball 30 times and gain 70 yards, at least we did something. I have no clue.
Yeah, I think the third down average length on Saturday was 8.1 yards. It just shows that your first downs, and honestly, like they have a first down problem, and then they also have a first quarter problem, which I wrote about, where they're not scoring on the first 3 drives of the games typically. Now they did score on that. I think it was the second drive against Ole Miss, or was the third drive against Ole Miss, where honestly Lane Kiffin called it luck. I'm not mad at calling it luck because it just didn't. It felt kind of fluky. So that was their only scoring drive. I will say the only thing I can think of, just the only thing in my head, outside of, like we said, Garrett Nussmeier getting healthy and being able to throw the damn football. Outside of that, I think they need to get Trey'Daz Green healthy and feature him. I think that is where I'm at right now. Is like the receivers are the receivers. I think they're good receivers. I think it's a good receiving core. Obviously, they're not being utilized the way that we want them to be or that they want to be, which ties in with Nussmeier. However, Trey'Daz Green, I think, against zone and against man, can be your get out of jail free card. And they tried that, right? They tried that against Clemson. They did, and then he got hurt against Louisiana Tech. We haven't seen him really since then. But Trey'Daz Green is that guy that I think you can press the button and be like, look, pass interference, contested catch, finds a pocket in his zone. I think he's smart enough now. I think he can do all those things. He's not a good blocker. I don't want him out there trying to run block. Just find ways to get him the ball because he can make bad throws completions. He can make contested catches completions. Like that's the difference.
The margin of error is very wide for him as a quarterback.
Yes. And so they need some of those bailouts right now. And so that's where I go. If I'm looking at trying to find a solution, I don't believe in the run game. We'll see how the quarterback situation works out. But at the end of the day, you can find Trey'Daz Green on a 15-yard hitch route or out route or some sort of route, and you don't have to put a ton of pace on it because you just need to put it up where he's 8 feet in the air and he'll go.
Yeah. I'm going to try to dive into this. I'm going to choose the run game because I think that if you're going to be effective this year offensively, and let's just throw it out there that maybe, just maybe, at quarterback you're not going to be what you thought you were. Like you're going to be a tick or two below, which isn't awful. Like it can. I think they're going to hopefully get a little bit better. But let's just say that for happenstance. They need to make things easier on this offensive line in terms of what they're doing. We talked about this on Sunday. They can't zone run block. Like they can't do it. They whether it's an athleticism standpoint, whether it's not understanding, they can't get to places quick enough. They can't do that. I think that you're going to have to see some old school football. And I know that it was, laughed at when Brian Kelly talked about we just ran the football for 51-yard carry or whatever Caden Durham had against Southeastern, or I guess the Florida game. I think you're going to have to do that. And look, Harlem Berry is going to have to be featured because he can, get to the outside a little bit. This is going to be Caleb Jackson's last opportunity to be involved in this offense, and maybe this is what they need to do. I would just line. I'm telling you, I'd get some 12 personnel. I don't like Trades Green blocking, so let's bring out
Donovan Green,
Bauer and Donovan Green.
Yeah,
and let's just. Can you do anything with that? Like, can you make it easy where you are limiting the space in between you and the defense as an offensive line and allowing your guys to just get an initial push that involves Koon being at right tackle, because at the very least, and like Kelly said today when I asked him about it, he's going to have some hustle penalties. I'm fine with that, man. Some hustle mistakes. I'll take that. I don't want to see you play patty cake and not be too slow to get to somebody. So, I mean, that you took the obvious one, right? I mean, feature Trades Green and even Bauer Sharp to a little bit more of an extent. Like, use these tight ends that you have as security blankets because you can't hit the downfield shots.
Yeah.
Run game, like, Brune, if they want to do anything, they have to have some type of commitment to something in the run game. Like, you can't just abandon it with the way your quarterback play is, because then you're only going to average 18 points a game or whatever it is.
And in the second half, they were able at times to run. Like Harlan Berry had that drive where he found some holes and was able to get those 4 or 5 yards and punch it in and stuff. So I'm not an optimist with it. I wish they had a fullback. I wish they had a fullback on this roster. Like,
is Giovanni? He still's on the roster. I mean, you know, like,
but they've never practiced it. Right, this isn't anything in fall camp they've ever gone to, or any, like, they've done under center stuff before, but
going under center is a big part of what I was talking about as well.
I mean, it's like, I agree with people that say you have a pro style quarterback and you're not playing a pro style offense. Like, you're playing a Jaden Daniels offense almost, and you don't have
peg into a round hole, and you don't have.
And again, I very, very, very high on Nussmeier, but even last year, it didn't feel like a Garrett Nussmeier like offense. It still felt like you were playing with Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas, and you don't have those guys. So I agree. I would love it if they tried treating him like he's Tom Brady and not Jaden Daniels. Not saying they expect him to run, but out of, like, again, these read options, these RPOs type stuff. And again, he's not healthy, so who knows? But, like, that's just what I've always felt about how they have Garrett Nussmeier playing. So
the problem with all of this, and you just hinted at it right there towards the end of your statement, is we can talk about all of this stuff. It hinges on the health of your quarterback. Because if you're going to be a team that says we're not going to run the ball, well, then you've got to have a quarterback that everyone wants to talk about, threw for 4,000 yards last year. That guy's not there right now. So I don't. That's the issue. You know, I'm with you to a certain extent. I mean, look, you're going to hear the coaching cliches. Simplify everything. We've got to get back to the basics. We've got to get back to executing and winning the one-on-ones. I mean, yeah, dude. Like, I guess for me, Brune, and people can tell when they watch this after the fact and listen, it's frustrating because it's like you're really entering almost a 180 of 2023 if what we see continues. You're entering a 180 of it, of where you don't need. Is this crazy? I don't think you need what you had in Nussmeier last year to make the playoff. You don't need a guy that has to go around and make all these crazy plays and throw for 4,000 yards. You need someone who can take care of the football and can make the throws. Some of this stuff, by the way, on Nuss is not middle section of the body related. It's in between the ears.
Yeah.
So it's not all of that, whether he's compensating in different ways for it. So
yes, I
just think if you can find, like I said, if it's not what it was last year, fine. But if you can get him to a point to where he's hitting receivers in stride, whether it's 10, 15 yards, whatever it is,
Chris Hilton move
the ball
down the right side.
If you can do that, I'm back, baby. Okay, I'm good. I can feel like you can get the playoff. If not, I don't know. I don't know what you can do in season to fix these problems. It's an off-season problem that has crept into the season, and that's a dangerous spot to be. And if your quarterback doesn't get right, there's nothing you can do. Like, is that fair to say? If he's not right,
if this is the quarterback play we're getting for the rest of the season, if you're telling me that Ole Miss version is the version we're getting all year, and Van Buren's not coming in to try to save them, the ceiling is what?
7 or 8 wins.
Seriously. 8 wins? Like, yeah, 8 wins. Like, you know, should be South Carolina. I honestly think they should beat South Carolina even with Nussmeier limited, because I just think the defense is going to have
fair.
Lenore's.
And they're playing at home. It's going to be ugly. But
yeah. Did you see the total for this game in Vegas?
What is it?
You want to bet, or you want to guess?
49.5.
43.5. Vegas thinks LSU does not have a
43 and a
quarterback
half
yet.
is the over-under on that game?
Yeah. Vegas is tired of me betting the unders, so credit to Vegas for finding my...
That's insulting. If I'd have told you, Brune, hey, when LSU walks...
Lenora Sellers and Garrett Nussmeier before the
over
season.
under is going to be 43 and a half.
43. And they're both playing. That's where we're at right now is Lenora Sellers and Garrett Nussmeier, 43 and a half in a primetime game. It's not a primetime game.
But to your point, if you're playing this brand of football, I mean, yeah, you should probably beat South Carolina and you should beat Arkansas.
Yes.
And you should beat Western Kentucky. There's 3. And that would put you at 7 wins. I mean, I know things change, and I'm not trying to move goalposts or be Mr. Pessimistic. I just can't sit here and confidently tell you that you're going to beat Vanderbilt, you're going to beat Alabama, and you're going to beat Oklahoma.
A&M,
I can't.
A&M at home too.
And A&M at home. I can't tell you that's going to happen.
Yeah. This is interesting. Well, we got 10 more days to sit on this, Bryce. So,
I mean, I don't know if you can tell. I'm going to the beach this weekend, so you have fun. I'm on Saturday. I'm not looking at anything related to what comes.
Let's get Garrett Nussmeier on the pod. Someone call him up.
Yeah, that's interesting. But hey, any final thoughts? I guess before we get out of here.
No,
we talked to injuries, talk to this.
I'm ready to go. Subscribe to the Bengal Tiger on 3. Come talk on the message board. We'll be there all day, all night.
134 days till baseball season. That's all I got.
Baseball's almost here. We got the women's basketball's almost here.
Men's basketball's almost here. Brune,
Matt McMahon and them got a group this year. So, but no, we're here. Football season. LSU will play South Carolina in 10 days, and we'll see how it goes, and we can react appropriately. But I'm
subscribe.
excited.
We'll hang out with you on the message board to make sure you get that Bengal Tiger subscription. It's $1 for your first week, and you get the annual athletic subscription there as well. So make sure you utilize that and take advantage. And you can hang out with myself, Brune, and all the rest of the gang, including our good friend Holy Bull down here, who is a fun person to be around.
Holy Bull.
He's a good one. He's a good one. It's crazy. We didn't really read the comments. What's crazy about this is the worst Power 4 run game, by the way, Michael. And please correct me wrong, fact check me here. I'm going off of what I believe to be true. Next week's game is going to feature the 2 worst run games in the SEC. I think that is true.
I mean, LSU is 119th in rush yards per game at 104.
Give me 2 or 3 teams around them in that sense.
Oh, let me go look. I don't have it up. Because they're 119th, and I think they're averaging like 3.5 yards per carry. So, all right, rushing yards. Here we go. 119th. Around them at 118, Sam Houston State. 117, Purdue. 120, Maryland. 121, San Jose State. Right, South Carolina is below them, 99.8 yards per game. So we have that too.
Flights, Charlotte, Nashville, Purdue, and LSU battling for a tub of mayo or the Music City Bowl.
Oh, good. Okay, let's end this podcast.
I might stand in defiance.
Clemson's at 111, so shout out to them.
Clemson's terrible. Clemson's terrible. We appreciate you watching. Thanks so much. We'll catch you next time here on